Misión San Jose, Queen of the Missions, Introduction to Life in the Missions for high school students who will explore and become familiar with the home and lives of Native peoples who lived in Mission San Jose. Bienvenidos a Misión San Jose, established 1720. For over 100 years, the San Jose operated as a mission, and over 2,000 Indians were baptized. Today, families that worship at Mission San Jose continue in the faith taught to the Mission Indians. Many hearts and hands continue to restore this Queen of the Missions. Today, the National Park Service preserves and protects the living heritage of the people who were transformed here and the stone structures that they built. For protection of the people who lived inside of the missions, soldiers would gather in the bastions, and they would protect the people of the missions from Apache and Comanche invaders. For the Franciscan friars of the missions, their objective was to convert the indigenous hunters and gatherers into Catholic tax-paying subjects for the King of Spain. The Indians struggled to survive against European disease and raiding Lipan Apaches. This led them to the missions and led them to forfeit their culture. Everything changed for these neophytes: diet, clothing, religion, culture, even their names. Today we can walk in their footsteps in Mission San Jose and see the quarters that they lived in and get an idea of the simple life of these indigenous people while living inside of Mission San Jose. The lives of the people inside of the missions was quite regimented. In the morning, the church bells would ring and they would gather for service. Afterwards, they would return home to eat atole made out of corn and charque, or jerky, dried meat. Worship was a huge part of the lives of the people who lived inside the mission. And the great architecture that lives on today in the rose window serves as a living reminder of where these people worked, worshipped, and their lives. The women and girls prepared food, swept the dirt floors, carted wood, and fished in the irrigation ditches outside the walls. In addition to raising children, everyone helped at harvest. Inside of the church, children were given religious instruction. Spanish and Indian mission officials also met in the plaza to discuss community affairs. But when the bells rang at noon, calling everyone back to the church for prayers, everyone would return. The main meal of the day was lunch. At this time, they would perhaps eat a bowl of goat stew, fresh baked tortillas, and after that had an afternoon siesta, where activity stopped for several hours. But outside the walls, mounted Indian sentinels kept guard continuously. In order to add wheat to the staple diet of the Indians, which mostly consisted of corn, Spaniards built a mill. In order to do that, they had to build a complex series of acequias that would divert water to the mill. This water created a powerful current that would power the turning of the mill. And finally, they stored the grains that were left over from the mill in a huge granary to stockpile it for use at a later time. that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining me in this brief tour of the missions. I hope you get a chance to come and visit the San Antonio mission soon, especially the queen of the missions, Mission San Jose, and get a taste for yourself of what life was like for the people who lived inside the missions.